Hello, everyone. I was basically saying to be bullish on Apple, Google, and Tesla. Money would flow into the loser tech stocks and come out of the winners, come out of AMD, NVDA, and the other stocks. That's exactly what ended up happening today. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at what the next steps are for the market, how much higher these loser stocks can go, what's going to end up happening with the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Russell, all that good stuff. We're going to put it all together. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get started with the video. First and foremost, we're taking a look at Apple. Apple was due for a bounce. We had 4 days outside of the lower level of the Bollinger Band. Usually always leads to a bounce. That's the reason why we went long down here, and it's looking good. So essentially now we basically need to see, I will personally not look to take any profit until we hit 176, even though the options on our October calls, the calls are up 20%. So I want to be a bit greedy on these. I'm going to wait for about 175, 176 before we even think about taking profit. But there's that for Apple, which should continue bouncing. I don't think the overall market is going to end up capitulating. All right. This is that for Apple. Okay. Now, Google as well. Google is also very bullish. Similar concept. Apple, Google, Tesla were the losers, right? They were the beaten down tech stocks. And while all of the other tech stocks, for example, Netflix, Meta was doing good until today. Amazon was also doing good. Like relative, right? All of these stocks, they're just starting to fall, right? But Apple, Google, Tesla, we're all down here. You get it? So money is flowing out of the winners into the losers. So that's essentially what was going on. And of course, you know, AMD and NVIDIA as well. So now that's my thought process. Money should continue flowing into these loser stocks. Give enough time for the winners to take like profits on their longs, come back to levels of support, find consolidation at these levels of support, and then bounce. And then that would help bring the overall market up as well. Now let's zoom out a bit. We have CPI data coming out tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that's obviously going to be very, very important. That's going to be a very big deal. That's why we're not holding on to anything really short term overnight. And we need to see how the market responds afterward. Once that occurs, if there's decent news, right, then I believe the rest of the week should be bullish. In general, when monthly OPEX occurs, it is bullish for the week of OPEX. So we have OPEX on March 15th, which is Friday. For this week, in general, the market is bullish. Statistically, it's meant to be bullish. After OPEX, statistically, that week is bearish, which means this week should be bullish. Next week should be bearish. And that's essentially what it is. But purely, it really all depends on CPI data tomorrow. But we've positioned ourselves pretty good in these loser tech stocks that have the biggest upside potential, that are good companies. And I think we're positioned pretty well regardless. So in terms of day trading, in terms of like the levels themselves, once again, the same levels apply as I was saying yesterday. 510, 508, major levels of support on the SPY. On the NASDAQ, as I was saying, 435, 436, 434 even. Very, very important levels on the NASDAQ in terms of support. If we start cracking below 434, then we could see 430 on the NASDAQ. And that's going to be kind of interesting to see if that happens. The IWM is also starting to sell off a bit comparatively to the NASDAQ. In my opinion, primarily due to CPI data coming out tomorrow. So fun stuff. And it's also good. At the end of the day, guys, just think about it like this. We had a monster rally. The SPY is $6 away from an all-time high. The IWM The NASDAQ, the SPY, if we're going to have a bit of a pullback, that's fine. But statistically, what should end up happening is we should get a bearish week after this Friday. And statistically, we should have a bullish week this week. What I mean by bullish week is a green weekly close. Okay? So statistically, we should get a green weekly close. Right now, we're negative 0.09. So we're almost 0.1% red. Statistically, we should be green. And that's essentially what I think should end up happening. And yeah, Apple is green. Google, Tesla were some of the only tech stocks that were green today. And I think we did a pretty good job at like pinpointing that money would flow out of the winners into these losers. That's exactly what's happening at the moment. And yeah, things are looking pretty good. So, and real quick, we can take a look at the dollar. The dollar has an inverse relationship to the market generally. When the dollar is rising, then that is bearish for the overall market. And we can see that the dollar is very overextended to the downside. And it bounced today. So when the dollar bounces, obviously, because it has an inverse relationship, when the dollar bounces, that is bearish for the market. And essentially, that's what ended up happening. So, yeah, you know, we just have to see if the dollar can continue bouncing a bit. We see the lower level of the Bollinger Bands really, really vomiting. So a small bounce in the dollar can continue falling afterward. We have to see what ends up happening. The other important thing is at 1 p.m. tomorrow, we have the 10-year bond auction. So that is also going to make the market really, really crazy, unfortunately. The market in general tomorrow should be, IV might be high, especially heading into 1 p.m. IV might start getting a bit higher. And yeah, it's going to be fun to see what ends up happening. Overall, if CPI data is good, we should see a good week. And yeah, let's see what ends up happening. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Not really much else to talk about in terms of technicals, really. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for your support. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.